Hey Math 10C, we are going to go through and review lesson 6.4, lesson 6.5, and lesson 6.6. So 6.4 is slope-intercept form, graphing slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So the reason why it's called slope-intercept form is because you can tell what the slope and the y-intercept is by looking at the equation. So here is the slope, this value m in front of the x, and here is the y-intercept, the value b. So to write the equation of a straight line graph, you can use the following two constants: the rate of change or slope, m, and the y-intercept. So remember, the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis, okay? If 0b is the point where the line crosses the y-axis, then b is the y-intercept, so whatever b may be. The equation of a non-vertical straight line graph can be written in slope-intercept form. The equation is y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope, which is the rise over run, and b represents the y-intercept. So you'll always be given this. You don't have to memorize it, but you will probably just memorize it anyways because you're going to use it so often. So just a little bit of a review here. They give some examples. So we can show lines of graphs in lots of different ways, right? We show here, this is called a table of values. We use a t-chart where x is 0, then what does y equal? Where x is 1, what does y equal? And then we can take those points and plot them on this graph here. So 0 and 1, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, and 2 and 5, which we can't even see on here. The slope is the change in y. So this is a triangle. That means change in y over change in x. So the vertical change divided by the horizontal change. So here the vertical change is 2. We're going up by 2. And from here to here, up 2, 1, 2, and to the right, 1. So the bottom is a horizontal change. So 2 over 1, and we can simplify that to just be 2. The y-intercept is 1. That's where the graph crosses the y-axis. So this is the y-axis here, crosses at 1. So to put it into my equation, y equals mx plus b, m is my slope, that's 2, and b is my y-intercept, which is 1. So I'm not going to go through the rest with you. You can take a look at those, but I'm going to do some examples. So example 1, using the line graphed below, answer the questions that follow. What are the slope and y-intercept of the lines shown in the graph? All right, so the first thing we want to look at is the slope. So what I would do is I'd look for where the line crosses the grid exactly. Okay, so if I look at that T there, this red line crosses that T exactly at that point. And then I look for another place where it crosses exactly at that T. Okay, and that's going to make it really easy for me to find the slope. So I'm going to go up from this point here, down to this point here. So I'm going to go down 1, 2. So that's actually -2 because I'm going down, and I'm going to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's a positive 3 because I'm going horizontally to the right 3. So my slope is -2 over 3. Okay, your slope is your change in y, so vertical change over your change in x, or horizontal change. Okay, now the other reason why I know that it's negative is because the line is decreasing to the right. It's decreasing to the right. So whenever your straight line is decreasing to the right, that means that it's a negative slope. Y-intercept, where does this graph, this red line, cross the y-axis? Here's my y-axis. It tells you that that's the y-axis, so it actually crosses right here. That blue point, so that is at +1. Okay, so that's my y-intercept. What are the slope and y-intercept of the line? Well, that's it. So I'm just going to label it slope as -2 over 3, which is m, and my y-intercept, which is called b, is 1. Write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So y is equal to, and they give you the form here, -2/3 x plus 1. Use graphing technology to check your equation. So we have used our graphing calculator before. I will post some videos to show you how to review how to do that, okay? Express each of the following in slope-intercept form and sketch its graph. So what I need to do is I need to put this equation here, into slope-intercept form. And the reason why I would want to do that is because I can tell then what the slope is, m, and the y-intercept is. When it's not in that form, so when the y isn't by itself there on the left-hand side, I can't tell what this is. I might think that the slope is 2, but it's actually not 2, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange this equation to get y all by itself. So what I need to do is just divide each term by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm left just with y on the left. Whatever I do on the left, I do to the right. So 2 over 3x minus 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So now my slope is 2. My y-intercept is negative 2. You always take the sign that's in front. I'm just going to label them. Negative 2/3. Negative 2. Sorry, not negative 2/3, positive 2/3. So it crosses at negative 2. And then my slope, that means I'm increasing up to the right, and then I'm going horizontally to the right 3. So I'm going up 2, 1, 2, to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. You actually only need 2 points to draw a line, so that's all I'm going to use. And then I use a ruler to draw my straight line. Okay, this one's a little bit trickier, but same premise. All I want to do is get this y all by itself in order to get it into this form, y equals mx plus b, because then I can tell what the slope is and the y-intercept is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other side. So that's negative 6y, and I'm just going to write the 3x in front of the 24, just so it looks more like this form here. Then I'm going to divide everything by negative 6. Y is equal to negative 1 over 2x, because I'm reducing 3 over negative 6. And then 24 divided by negative 6, that is negative 4. Okay, so I just reduce that. Now my slope, negative 1 over 2, and my y-intercept, negative 4. So it crosses my y-axis at negative 4, and then my slope, so it's increasing. Oh, no, not increasing, sorry. That negative means that it's decreasing 1 and going to the right 2. So decreasing 1, going to the right 2. All right, that's enough. I just need 2 points. You can do more if you want, but you don't have to. And then draw your line. Now we know this line has a negative slope because it's decreasing to the right. Okay, this line up here has a positive slope because it's increasing to the right. All right, I'm going to pause here and come back and we'll do lesson 6.5.